Alright guys, we've got a 10-minute unrated game against a player rated 1183. So we have the French defense King's Knight variation. If pawn takes, a recapture. Which then turns into a kind of French exchange. Okay, so he's pushed that. I can now push c5, which prevents an instant d4. I'm kind of expecting c3 then d4. This is going into an advanced variation. Okay, so he's blocked off his bishop there. Okay, I think bringing out the knight makes sense. I've got two pieces looking at that square. Oh, I've been very, very tired, not playing exceptionally well today. Okay, I can now kick the knight with d4. The knight comes here, I can kick it again. If the knight comes in here, queen can take straight away. So let's grab the space and the tempo. Can't go there. He's got a few options. Bringing the knight back would be not good. Got one attacker on here. Might bring, okay. So he's got ideas of maybe going in there, but he'll lose a pawn if he does that, so I'm going to kick him again. Now he can only really go back. If he comes in, I can capture with my bishop. Normally in the French, the light square bishop is pretty bad, but now I've got these advanced pawns on dark squares. Kind of makes me think that my dark square bishop is now potentially weaker than my light square. Okay, so now the knight has moved a third time and ended up all the way back here. Alright, so now I could develop my light square bishop. I could play this, or I could try and bring my knight around to here with a second attacker on there. Seems to make sense. It's a potential pin. Alright, so he's looking at now fianchettoing his light squared bishop here. Alright, not too worried about that. Let's proceed with the knight. So now we've got two attackers on this pawn. Both knights are looking at that pawn. Be quite happy to trade knights in the middle of the board. Also removes the key defender of his king side. Okay, so he's defending with a queen. I can add a third attacker with my queen. Then if he brings his bishop out, knight takes bishop, pawn takes, that really messes up his structure there, so we'll try that. This pawn's sometimes a target, but the dark square bishop is still at home defending that pawn. Right, so he's brought his knight in. How about b5? Hit the knight one more time. Can't see a problem with it. Knight's going to have to come back here, I think. If he comes in, I'll just trade off my dark square bishop and win a pawn that way. Okay, he's gone back. Right, do I just go in now and grab the pawn? Got a big space advantage now with all these pawns off the mark. 5 pawns have now moved forwards, really clamping down on the on White's side of the board, controlling a lot of squares now. Okay, we've got a trade. So I'm going to capture with a knight. I don't want to trade off queens at this point in time because I've got that space advantage. So now I'm getting ready to castle. Could even get my bishop. If I can get my bishop there first, it prevents him from fianchettoing his bishop and it attacks the rook. So he's going to have to block or do something. This knight is free to move because the bishop behind is defended by the queen. I'd really like to get that move in. But I had to defend the knight. because it was pinned. So I think his best move now would be that, in which case I'll play rook to b8 and maybe seek to trade off the light squared bishops. Castling's also an option now. Okay, yeah, good move. I think that was the best move. So I can play this now, try and trade off the bishops. But there's no rush. This knight is very bad here. This bishop is looking at the wrong side of the board, really. So it's just castle now. This knight's well enough defended. Okay. So that's now a third attacker on there. So I can move my knight back to here and hit this bishop. I think that makes sense. So now I've got 3 attackers on that bishop. It's only defended by a pawn. So I think he's forced to trade off, or he's going to have to just move out of the way. So he could go here, could go here. Bishop doesn't have great prospects. I think if he comes here, I might just continue my pawn advance and really try and suffocate the position. Right. Now I'm very tempted just to grab that bishop off. I think I'll win a pawn that way as well, so now I'm threatening to capture on h2 with check. And the king is now looking quite exposed. This pawn's fine, it's defended twice right now. He might just push h3. If he does, I think I might just place this bishop. Ooh. Now there's a free pawn. He's going to have to move his king. So, what's the idea? Is he going to come after my h7 pawn? I could just push g6. But let's grab the free pawn with check. Forcing move. Hasn't got time to capture the pawn. I may even just play this. Maybe think about dropping my bishop back this way. Okay. Something like that. If bishop takes, I take, he's got queen here, and that actually wins my bishop with a fork. So I don't really want that. I'm going to push g6 now. If he takes, simply recapture. And that also opens up a route for my rook. This knight is out of the game as things stand. Might even think about f5. Really make life difficult for that bishop. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Got to stay on that diagonal, so I could even play this, swap the bishop off, and maybe threaten bringing my queen in here with mate. That'd be very nice indeed. So he's got 3 squares he can go to, but whatever he does, I've got bishop b7. Okay, that would actually undefend this pawn. So maybe, can't push the pawn, queen can still take. But then we trade off queens. Or do I play rook e8? Rook e8 is just preventing my opponent's possibilities. Even play rook b6 as well. Okay, now this lets his rook into the game. Bishop here. Whatever he does, I've got bishop takes bishop. Queen's defending that bishop on h2. So I think this is time to keep on the front foot. Queen can't take the pawn because rook takes queen. So I'm threatening this with check. King has to take. Ah, right. But that undefends these two squares. So do I want to put my queen in here? I can't see a winning attack that way. I could push the pawn and increase the pressure. Takes, I can't recapture with that pawn because my queen hangs to the rook. So what do? Just bring the queen in here. Here. Now if pawn takes, I've got queen takes, and I'm threatening to come in here. G1. And that would be checkmate. So right now I'm up 3 whole pawns. I've still got all my pawns on the board, and he's down 3 pawns. 3 pawns have gone. Got bishop there as well. I'd actually force the rook to move off of that semi-open e-file. That's not a bad move. And I could even trade queens there if I wanted. There's 2 defenders on there and 2 attackers. Yeah, it's a sharp position. And my opponent's down to 3 minutes. So this is front foot chess. This is really something I'm trying to go for. Okay, I'm going to take with the queen, and I'm threatening checkmate on the next move. In fact, it's pretty hard to stop. I think all he can do is block with the queen. And that's mate. Indeed. There we go. Okay, nice satisfying win there. And a great example of grabbing the space in the board, and when you've got that space, when your opponent is cramped, you don't want to be trading off too much material, because that makes room for your opponent's pieces to move. And as you can see towards the end here, he was just really running out of space, and that attack against the king was just too much in the end. So there you go. Hope it's been fun. I enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.